Hello, this is MJ and welcome to another sketchbook tour. This time I will show you my Moleskine. It's a book that I brought with me pretty much everywhere in Toronto, and I sketched from 2016 to basically now 2017. I finally finished it and I figured it would be a great opportunity to show you what I've done. So this is a Moleskine, and most of the sketches were created using this simple pencil, this simple pen. There's also a bit of watercolors that I added after when I went to different events. So let's dig in. Most of the sketches that you're going to see here are urban sketches from being in the subway or being in coffee shop waiting for friends and things like this. I sometimes add lettering or decoration after, just for fun, and it's a great way to practice lettering, practice people, especially practice people. And sometimes I add a lot of things together, like this was in the subway, somebody was carrying an Uncle Tattoo bag, so I decided to sketch that, different people in the subway, different building when I'm waiting for the bus and things like that. Sometimes they're interesting story. The reason why this is blacked out is because one of the passenger in the subway saw me sketching. He was a little high, and he asked if he could sketch in my sketchbook a portrait. He did. It was very interesting, but a lot of things around was just not something that I wanted to keep on my sketchbook. But I still wanted to keep the story, so I kept what I wanted to keep, wrote what happened, and like on top of like a marker. I thought it turned out pretty good. Again, details. One of the great things about using the pen is that you can actually still do like some great shading and you're not erasing, so it's a little faster to get things done. It's all a question of pressure. The less pressure you put, like if you make a mistake like in here, you can go over it and it's barely visible. This was at an urban sketching event that I organized at the farmers market last year. They had a band, so I drew the band and I drew some of the stuff that they wrote, they sang. Again, subway, people in different places. Waiting for a friend at Balzac Coffee. More people. I sometimes draw maps as well of where I'm going. It's a good way for me to remember. Here sometimes, so I sketched the people before, and then when I got back home I felt like being creative, so I added this little square. The sketchbook is a very good opportunity to try different things, and I don't always sketch people. Like here I sketched the tattoo that I saw on somebody's leg that I thought was really cool. I went to the Archangels Summit last year, so it's basically a talk with different keynote speakers that are great entrepreneurs. So these are more sketch notes with some portraits of some of the guests that were there and some of the notes from what I learned being there. There was a lot of interesting people. There was Robin Sharma, that was interesting, Philip McKernan, who had a fun presentation as well, Jason Gaynard, Gretchen Rubin. Giovanni Marsico is the founder of the Archangel. He does a lot of these type of events. Seth Godin was really cool. He was one of my favorite. Natalie McNeil, she had a really interesting story about the struggle of I guess entrepreneurship. Oh yes, okay, so she compared entrepreneurship as barnacle babies leaping off of a giant mountain to be able to get to the nest where the food is at the end. And it's not a fun thing, but you have to do it. JJ Version, it was the first time that I've heard of her, and she had a very inspiring story. And Gary Vaynerchuk, he was awesome, of course. They saved them for last. People in the subway, going to the Far Enough Farm with the Toronto Urban Sketchers. On Halloween day when I used this, went in the subway, there were still people dressed as different characters, so I drew some of them. This is another urban sketching event at 401 Richmond. These colors I added afterwards, just to test different things. These, the musicians were taken at the Rex. It's a great place to go in the winter. Gardner Museum, Subway, Gardner Museum, Subway. Again, the colors are added after, just to test different things. Subway, back at the Rex, sketching musician. I like to sketch musician. It's a fun thing to do. Detail of a person. I think he was sleeping in the subway. They're the best. Sleeping people are like, you can go into details. This was an event with the Toronto Urban Sketchers where we actually as a group went to sketch the people. Sometimes I like to write conversations, or what I hear. It's not really full conversations. It's always fun to draw dogs. They're easier to draw when they're sleeping. You can see that it was winter. This was at the Bad Shoe Museum. Again, details. Sometimes there's too many people to sketch people, so I go and sketch details that I can see that don't really move too much. This was at the Union Station, the place where they take the train to go to the airport. People in the subway. This was at the Sheraton Hotel, like looking into their garden. IKEA is also another great place to sketch in the winter. The Green Binnery, coffee shop while waiting for friend. Yorkville Mall. This was in Montreal at the Nelligan, just little details. This it was at the Old Port for the 375th anniversary. They had like a little farm for people to visit the old school way, mostly for kids, but there were a lot of adults there as well that enjoyed playing with the animals. People in the subway. It's a great way to actually look also at posture. And I noticed that I started to add a little bit more to the sketches, not just the people, but also like more of the chair to kind of anchor the people and situate them, like here and here. This was at Berksea Park. If you haven't been, the dog fountain is super cute. Again, people in the subway. And this was at the Archangel show, where again it's a smaller version of the Archangels Summit, where a few keynote speakers sit in front with the host and discuss life experiences. So I was a little bit in the back, so I decided to sketch the people and some of the speakers whenever I could, with some notes of what happened or what they talked about. And that's about it. This is a sketch of me from Hasib, one of the urban sketchers in Toronto. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this little quick walkthrough of my sketchbook, and I'll see you next time. Bye.